The teasers dropped. The fandom basically went silent. I mean, in an instant, the entire K-pop world was just turned upside down.
Oh, absolutely. The internet was in an absolute tailspin.
Right, because suddenly this massive clickbait headline was everywhere. They caught them together, Jimin and Jungkook's Switzerland secret.
Which is exactly the kind of title that sends netizens into a total frenzy.
Totally. I mean, you see a title like that and you immediately think the worst or the best, depending on how you look at it. Welcome to StarScope K-Report. Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Hallyu wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates.
From internet breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
So today we are doing a deep dive into the massive cultural footprint of BTS members Jimin and Jungkook, and we are doing it specifically through the lens of their hit Disney Plus travel reality show, Are You Sure? Season 2.
Yeah, we're really zooming in on their chaotic, heartwarming, and honestly deeply revealing trip to Switzerland.
It's just such a fascinating case study, and we have a really robust stack of sources to pull from today. We're looking at viewer rating data from Reading Graph, the official Disney Plus release announcements, and of course, deep diving into fan reactions on the massive Reddit community, Ramengtan.
Right, and to understand the business side of things, because that's huge here, we are pulling from Korean news outlets like Chosunbiz and the Swiss travel industry publication travelnews.ca.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack how a seemingly simple buddy travel show doesn't just, shatter streaming records, but actually reshapes global tourism, all while delivering those raw, unfiltered human moments that fans crave.
Okay, let's unpack
I'm
this.
so ready.
To really grasp why this specific trip is making such massive waves, we first have to look at the highly specific timing of the production. Because the timing is it's wild.
Timing is the entire foundation of this narrative. I mean, season 2 was filmed in June 2025.
And for context, that is mere days, literally just days after Jimin and Jungkook were discharged from their mandatory military service in South Korea.
Which is a profound psychological shift. I mean, any stan knows that a military hiatus is basically the hardest test for a fandom.
Oh, absolutely. It's an eternity in K-pop time.
Exactly. And you are talking about going from one of the most highly regimented, restricted environments imaginable where your autonomy is completely stripped away.
Yeah.
You are entirely detached from your global superstar identity.
Yeah, you're just another soldier.
Right. And going straight into this wild, hyper-visible travel scenario, the whiplash must have been just so intense.
It creates this really fascinating baseline for the viewer, though, because we are watching two people essentially taste freedom for the first time in over a year and a half.
It's like their unofficial comeback before the actual music comeback.
Exactly. But the production team doesn't just, put them in a five-star resort to decompress.
No, of course not. That would be too easy.
Right. They throw them into this 12-day trip through Switzerland and Vietnam with a massive twist, which is the penalty games.
Oh my gosh, the penalties are brutal. The producers literally forced them to travel with just a 20-inch carry-on suitcase.
A 20-inch carry-on for 12 days.
I know. Think about the last time you tried to cram 12 days of clothes into a tiny carry-on for a budget airline.
It's a nightmare.
It really is. Now imagine doing that while being one of the most famous people on Earth, someone totally accustomed to traveling with a massive entourage and unlimited wardrobe options. And on top of that, they're put on incredibly tight budgets and forced to figure out their own routes.
Which completely flips the script on what audiences expect from celebrity travel shows.
Right, exactly.
Historically, when we watch the mega-rich travel, we are watching a fantasy of, friction-free existence. The bags disappear, the cars are waiting, the doors open automatically.
I actually have a theory about this. Putting them in coach, so to speak, isn't just about saving a production budget. It's about deliberately breaking their K-pop conditioning. Am I off base here?
Not at all. You're spot on.
Because on the surface, stripping away the luxury seems like a massive risk. Does forcing global icons to struggle with their luggage and budgets actually make for better television? Or is it just a gimmick to drive social media clips?
What's fascinating here is that it is the core engine of the show's success, and it goes way beyond just being a gimmick.
Really?
Yeah, because when you have unlimited resources, travel is frictionless. And from a storytelling perspective, a friction-free existence is incredibly boring to watch.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right? Narrative requires conflict. So by stripping away the glamour, the producers create immediate, undeniable authenticity. And the audience response proves that this friction works. If you look at the staggering data from Rating Graph, Season 2 episodes are pulling in near-perfect 9.8 out of 10 ratings.
Wait, 9.8 out of 10? That is almost unheard of for unscripted reality television.
It really is.
That implies near universal satisfaction from the viewership. I mean, an all kill on the charts is one thing, but dominating TV ratings like that is huge. If you love staying updated on your favorites, make sure you're subscribed to StarScope K-Report because we have got even bigger scoops ahead.
And you know, that 9.8 is a massive jump even from Season 1, which was already the most watched non-English unscripted show on Disney Plus worldwide.
Wow.
The crucial insight here is how the lack of luxury directly correlates to that high audience engagement. The struggle isn't a penalty for the viewer, it is the reward. It takes these untouchable global icons and makes them incredibly tangible.
Tangible and honestly just completely hilarious. Here's where it gets really interesting. That raw, unpolished format leads directly into these unscripted mishaps that have absolutely dominated fandom.
The kitchen scenes are a perfect study in contrast. You have these performers who execute, like, complex stadium choreography flawlessly.
Right, absolute perfection on stage.
Yeah, and then utterly failing at basic human tasks.
We absolutely have to talk about the incident that fans have dubbed the war potato.
Oh my goodness, the war potato.
So they are in Switzerland, right? And Jimin decides he wants to cook for Jungkook. He attempts to make a traditional Swiss rusty, which is essentially a thick potato pancake.
Sounds simple enough.
You'd think, but instead of making it from scratch, he buys a prepackaged convenience store version.
As Swiss fans on Reddit quickly pointed out in absolute horror, those specific packets already contain all the necessary fat and oil mixed in with the potatoes.
Exactly. You are just supposed to put it in a dry pan.
But Jimin clearly doesn't read the German instructions.
Nope. He dumps a massive amount of cooking oil into the pan anyway, and the result is total chaos.
It's just a disaster.
The oil starts violently splashing everywhere, literally popping and exploding across the stove. He is physically fending off the frying pan with a spatula, terrified of his own breakfast, and he dubs his creation the war potato.
That is so funny.
One fan on Reddit left a comment that sums it up perfectly. They said, "When Jimin cooks, the food gets angry."
It functions as brilliant physical comedy, but its power really comes from the fact that it is entirely organic. To understand why this resonates so deeply, we have to look at the concept of the parasocial bond.
Right. And for anyone unfamiliar with the term, a parasocial bond is basically a one-sided relationship. It is when a fan feels a deep personal friendship with a public figure, even though that figure has no idea who they are.
Exactly.
Normally, that bond is built on admiration. We admire their visuals, their vocals, their talent. But watching a global icon struggle with a hot frying pan shifts the dynamic. Suddenly, he's in a pop god. He feels like your clumsy college roommate.
Yes. It supercharges that bond because it activates empathy instead of just awe.
That is such a good point.
That psychological shift from awe to empathy is the holy grail for modern entertainers. There is a psychological framework called competence versus warmth.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, superstars naturally have high competence. They are incredible at what they do. But to be genuinely loved, they need to demonstrate high warmth. Failing at cooking a potato, that dramatically increases their warmth score.
And it doesn't stop with the cooking either. Another massively viral moment involves the maknae, Jungkook, just trying to practice his English.
Oh, the AI app scene.
Yes, he is laying in bed, exhausted, using this AI language app on his phone. But the AI keeps malfunctioning or misunderstanding his accent, and it just keeps trying to end the conversation and say goodbye.
And he is just not having it.
Jungkook is getting increasingly frustrated, just yelling at his phone in the dark, "Why bye?"
The relatability of technology failing us is so universal. But it becomes fascinating when you place these small, relatable frustrations alongside massive logistical failures.
Oh, this is the best part. Here is where the logistics of the trip itself become a main character. At one point, they are supposed to travel from Zermatt to Brienz. They had clearly booked first-class train compartments, which makes complete sense.
Of course, they need a basic level of privacy and security.
Right. But the Swiss rail lines, which are famous for their efficiency, completely break down.
Just totally fail them.
The infrastructure failure forces a total recalibration of the production. The production team, the camera crew, and these two superstars are forced to scramble.
They literally have to reroute on the fly.
Yeah, and they cram onto a public ferry to get to Interlaken, sitting shoulder to shoulder with everyday, completely bewildered tourists.
That ferry ride is vital to understanding the specific appeal of this show within the broader context of the Hallyu wave, the global spread of Korean culture.
How so?
Well, in the highly polished, meticulously curated world of K-pop, fans are starved for this exact kind of unscripted reality. The industry is famous for its extreme control.
Oh, absolutely. The agencies control everything. The lighting, the styling, the PR statements, the narratives.
Exactly. So seeing their idols scrambling for public transport seats or getting splashed by angry potato oil, it completely shatters the perfect idol illusion.
It shatters it, but it actually weaponizes their flaws in the best way possible. I mean, a broken train doesn't care how many Billboard Hot 100 number ones you have. You still have to catch the ferry like everyone else.
It is the ultimate equalizer.
Yeah. And the fans on Reddit aren't laughing maliciously. They are connecting with the shared, annoying human experience of travel going wrong. But wait till you hear what happens when they actually reach the mountains, because that is when things get really emotional.
Oh, the Zermatt scenes.
The comedy of errors is just the entry point. Amidst all that chaos, the majestic Swiss landscape forces the duo out of their comfort zones in entirely different ways. The environment acts as a catalyst for both intense physical thrills and surprising emotional vulnerability.
It's funny, you'd think conquering a mountain would leave them feeling invincible. But adrenaline often acts like a truth serum.
Totally. The juxtaposition in this episode is wild. One minute they are eating convenience store hot dogs, and the next they are in Zermatt tackling paragliding beneath the Matterhorn.
And the Matterhorn is a massively intimidating mountain. Their reactions to the paragliding experience are fundamentally opposed, which I think highlights their different personalities perfectly.
Yeah, Jungkook is up in the air, laughing, absolutely loving the adrenaline. He is totally giving golden matinee energy, begging the guide for more spins and more thrills.
He is totally in his element.
Right, he is treating the Alps like a personal roller coaster. Meanwhile, Jimin is terrified.
Oh, poor Jimin.
He is absolutely petrified of the height, but despite the fear, he pushes through it. And while he is suspended thousands of feet in the air, spinning over the valley, he ends up calling it the best moment of my life.
Wow.
Yeah, and he is screaming his love for ARMY, their massive global fan base, from the sky. It is this incredibly triumphant, cathartic moment.
Cathartic is exactly the right word. Remember the context we established earlier. They've just spent over a year in the military, completely grounded, wearing uniforms, following strict orders.
Yeah, you literally can't leave.
So to go from that intense restriction to literally soaring over the Alp, you can visibly see the release of tension.
And when the parachute comes off and they are just sitting at a quiet outdoor bar in Zermatt later that night, all that high-flying energy suddenly drops into this really quiet, unexpected vulnerability.
Those nighttime scenes are always so revealing.
The local drinks are flowing, the cameras are rolling, and the conversation gets incredibly deep. Jungkook ends up sharing a deeply personal story about his first love.
This specific conversation became a massive talking point for K-nets and international fans alike. This raises an important question about idol culture.
Right, because it was an 8th grade crush. He explains how years ago he'd gone to America to learn dancing. He liked a girl who was also a student of his teacher, but he never confessed his feelings because he couldn't speak English well enough at the time to communicate with her.
It is such a sweet, highly relatable middle school heartbreak story.
It is. But I have a major question about this. Given the intense and often toxic scrutiny on K-pop stars' personal lives, isn't it a huge risk for the production team to broadcast a story about a crush? Like, even an old one.
To understand why this is a risk, we really have to look at the specific mechanics of K-pop fandoms.
Yeah.
Historically, the standard industry playbook, whether it's HYBE, SM, YG, JYP, is to sanitize an idol's personal life completely.
Yeah, the dating bans are infamous.
Exactly. Many agency contracts actually contain strict dating bans for the first few years of an artist's career. Idols are often marketed with an underlying illusion of eternal availability.
Right, catering to a fantasy where the fan is the primary focus of the artist's affection.
You hit the nail on the head. Any mention of romance, past or present, is traditionally treated as taboo because it threatens that fantasy.
We have seen idol careers completely derail over a single leaked paparazzi photo or just a rumor of a relationship. The netizen backlash can be fierce, so why not just edit the 8th grade crush story out in post-production? It would have been so easy to leave it on the cutting room floor and protect him.
Because keeping it in represents a strategic and cultural shift in how these specific idols interact with their audience. During the conversation, Jimin actually noted that it was fine to talk about because it happened so long ago.
True.
By deciding to broadcast this, They are treating the audience like mature confidants rather than possessive consumers.
They are essentially trusting their massive fan base to handle their humanity. And looking at the Reddit reactions and even Knet's forums, that trust was entirely validated.
Absolute.
Fans were praising them for being brave enough to share it. They weren't angry, they just found it endearing. It reminds the audience that before they were global titans, they were just normal kids who had awkward middle school crushes.
It bridges the gap between superstar and human being.
And later that same night, while stargazing, Jimin wishes on a shooting star for 40 more years of BTS.
Oh, that stargazing scene beautifully ties their past vulnerabilities to their future ambitions.
Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update, because we are about to look at how this emotional connection translates into hard cash.
Yeah, because the impact of these intimate, highly rated moments doesn't just stay on the screen or in internet forums. This emotional connection is spilling over into the real-world economy with staggering force.
Let's talk about the actual mechanics of the tourism marketing goldmine they created, because according to a fascinating article from travelnews.ch, Switzerland Tourism didn't just passively watch this happen.
They were heavily involved.
They actively collaborated to host this production. The boys visited Zermatt, Zurich, Lake Breens, and Lake Como. Essentially, they gave these specific destinations a massive, multi-episode, high-definition commercial starring two of the most influential people alive.
Right. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, how modern destination marketing organizations, or DMOs, operate has changed drastically.
Tell me about it.
Well, in the past, a tourism board would spend millions of dollars buying glossy television advertisements or billboard space. But with this collaboration, Switzerland Tourism bypassed traditional advertising entirely.
So smart.
They likely facilitated filming permits, coordinated logistics, and opened doors to ensure the production went smoothly in exchange for native integrated exposure.
And native exposure is so much more powerful because the audience doesn't feel like they're being sold a vacation. They're just watching their favorite people have an authentic experience.
Exactly.
Plus, Switzerland is traditionally seen as an older luxury exclusive market. It is expensive, it is quiet, it is famous for luxury watches and high-end ski resorts. It can feel deeply inaccessible, almost intimidating to younger demographics.
Definitely. It isn't exactly the first place a 20-something considers for a chaotic backpacking trip.
Right. But by leveraging the sheer power of this specific fandom, the Swiss Tourism Board pulled off a masterclass in rebranding. They repositioned the entire country to millions of young, highly engaged global viewers.
They proved that you can get lost on a ferry, eat convenience store hot dogs, struggle with a tiny carry-on suitcase, and still have the time of your life in Switzerland.
And the economic multiplier effect of this is very real.
Oh, it's massive. In the travel industry, there is a phenomenon known as set jetting, which is basically traveling to locations featured in movies or television shows.
Oh, like the Lord of the Rings effect on New Zealand.
Exactly, or the White Lotus effect on Sicily.
Yeah.
But when you introduce K-pop fandoms to set jetting, it becomes hypercharged.
Because fans don't just visit the city. They track down the exact GPS coordinates. They will find the specific bench the guy sat on.
Yes.
They will order the exact drink at the exact outdoor bar in Zermatt. We actually saw this in real time on the show with the Swiss fan who gently waved at Jungkook from outside the bar. That specific location is instantly a global landmark for millions of people.
It creates a pilgrimage site. For anyone studying modern economics or marketing, even if you have no interest in pop music, this is a vital case study.
Absolutely.
It proves the sheer economic power of digital communities. National tourism boards are entirely rewriting their ancient playbooks to tap into pop culture tourism because the return on investment is just unparalleled.
It is brilliant business disguised as a buddy comedy. We have gone on quite a journey today. I mean, we started with the physical comedy of the war potato and the frustration of arguing with AI language apps.
It's such good moments.
And then we moved into the profound psychological shift of post-military freedom, the heartfelt confessions under the shadow of the Matterhorn, and finally looked at the genius underlying marketing strategy of the Swiss Tourism Board.
Ultimately, the overarching lesson from all our sources is that radical authenticity, especially when it is messy, chaotic, and unscripted, is the most valuable currency in entertainment right now.
So what does this all mean? Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder, and it's based on one very specific penalty from episode 6 when they were in Zurich. We talked extensively about the luggage and budget restrictions, but the producers also implemented a digital minimalism penalty.
Oh, that part was intense.
They confiscated the boys' smartphones for just 1 single hour.
And taking away a modern celebrity smartphone isn't just an inconvenience. It is like taking away a scuba diver's oxygen tank.
Right.
Their entire ecosystem, their fans, their managers, their global footprint, their connection to their family, is all mediated through that glass screen.
When they took the phones, Jimin actually cried in defeat. He expressed that using his phone freely, whenever he wanted, was one of the very few things that brought him genuine joy after being so heavily restricted during his time in the military.
Which is so understandable.
It was his autonomy, his connection to the world. It is a stark reminder of how deeply tethered we all are to our devices.
It really forces us to question our own reliance on that constant digital mediation.
It makes you wonder, in an era where our entire lives, our memories, our sense of freedom, and our deepest connections are constantly filtered through screens, are we still capable of experiencing the best moment of our lives without a device in our hands? Something to think about the next time you're looking at a beautiful view, whether it's the Swiss Alps or just your own backyard. You've been listening to StarScope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.